Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a pretty fun problem for you guys. I think it's pretty instructive on some of the rules of exponents. So let's get started. The problem says solve for x, and we have 2 to the power x plus 2 to the power x plus 1 plus 2 to the power x plus 2 equals 56. And the first thing we're going to need to know to solve this problem is the exponent rule that a to the power of m plus n is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. And I won't prove that in this video, but that is an exponent rule, that when we have two numbers, m and n, being added in an exponent, we can also write that as a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So let's rewrite our equation knowing this rule. So the 2 to the x will stay the same because it does not fit our criteria for this exponent rule, but the next one does. So I'll put this in blue to highlight the change here. So here our a is 2, that's the base of our exponent, so we'll put 2. And our m is x, so we have a to the power m, that's 2 to the power x, and this is going to be multiplied by a to the power n. Well, a is 2, and our n here is 1, right? These just correspond to these values. This is our a, this is our m, and this is our n. And so we can directly make that substitution knowing this exponent rule. So now let's do it with the last term of this equation, and we can write it the same way. Our a here is 2, and our m is also x, but this time our n is 2, not 1. So that's how we can rewrite this equation. And now if you look carefully, every single one of these terms that we're adding all have a 2 to the power of x in common. And I'll underline that in orange so that we can clearly see that. And what that means is we can factor out the 2 to the power of x. So let's go ahead and do that. So 2 to the power x, and when we factor that out, we have to put in parentheses what you'd have to multiply the 2 to the power x by to get back to your original equation. So for the first term, 2 to the power x, what would we have to multiply 2 to the power of x by to get 2 to the power of x? Well, just 1, right? Because 2 to the power of x times 1 equals 2 to the power of x. Now the next term, 2 to the power of x times 2 to the power of 1. If we want to write that by factoring, what would we have to multiply 2 to the power of x by to get 2 to the power of x times 2 to the power of 1? Well, that would just be 2 to the power of 1. Or anything to the power of 1 is just itself. So we can actually just write this as, and I'm sorry, I put a multiplication there, I meant to put an addition. We're adding 2. So now we can do the final term, which we have to think, okay, what would we have to multiply 2 to the power of x by to get 2 to the power of x times 2 squared? Well, the answer is 2 squared, right? Because once we multiply that in, we would get this third term. And 2 squared, well, that's just 2 times 2, which is 4. And this is all equal to 56. And let's just double check, right? Let's just make sure that if we were to distribute this out, we would actually get the same thing. So if we brought this 2 to the power of x and multiplied it by 1, we would get our first term, 2 to the power of x. If we brought this 2 to the power of x and multiplied it by 2, we would get 2 to the power of x times 2, which is the same as 2 to the power of x times 2 to the power of 1. And now if we brought this 2 to the power of x into this 4, we would get 2 to the power of x times 4, or you can also say 2 to the power of x times 2 squared. So that's how we can rewrite this equation. And so now we can just simply add what's inside of the parentheses. 1 plus 2, that's 3, plus 4 is 7, and this is all equal to 56. And now we can just divide both sides by 7, and we can cancel out this 7. This will technically be a 1. This 7 will also become a 1, and 56 divided by 7, well, that's just 8. So what we have here is 2 to the power of x is equal to 8. And now, this is a much simpler equation to solve for x. You might even be able to see it right off the bat. But let's try to solve this algebraically. So 8 can be written as a product of 2's, right? 2 times 2, that's 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So we can write 8 as 2 times 2 times 2, which can also be written as 2 to the power of 3. And that means that we can replace 8 on the right-hand side of this equation with 2 to the power of 3. So let's do that. 2 to the power of x is equal to 2 to the power of 3. And now you should notice that these exponents have the same base of 2, but different exponents. But they're also equal to each other. And what that means is that the exponents themselves must be equal to each other to make this equation true. So x is equal to 3 is our final answer. And I'll just write beneath that the rule here. So if we have a to the power of m equals a to the power of n, then we can say that m has to equal n. And that makes sense, right? Because otherwise the equation wouldn't be true. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you guys learned something from this video. The key takeaway here is knowing the exponent rule, that a to the power of m plus n equals a to the power of m times a to the power of n, and we can expand that out, factor out the 2 to the power of x, divide by 7, and rewrite 8 as 2 to the power of 3. And then we can match the exponents and get our solution of x equals 3. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure and leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.